Aloha and welcome to the second WOD in this island snow experience. Remember that we're reproducing at least aspects of the islandsnow.com site, and you should have now implemented something similar to this. And in the next phase, what we're going to do is implement this Island Snow logo, this drop-down menu here, and the picture underneath. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And we're also going to practice using branching and merging in GitHub because that's super useful. All right, so WOD 2. So we're going to start the timer. And then we're going to create a branch of our Island Snow repo called middle1. So we'll go to GitHub. And actually, there's a small change here, so let's commit that. Fix workspace. Because you want to, when you create a branch, you want to have everything committed from your thing here. And that was just a silly thing, part of the IntelliJ. So now we'll create a branch called middle1, because it's the first time I'm doing this, off of master. And that changes us, the underlying repo, to have checked out the middle1 branch. So as you can see, if we go here, you can see down in the lower right corner that IntelliJ is telling us we're on the middle1 branch, which is where we want to be. Okay, so let's go back to this. So we did create a middle1, use the UI centered image class to place the Island Snow logo underneath the menu. Okay, so we need the UI centered image classes. So that means that somewhere underneath here we're going to say image source or class equals UI centered image. But the question is, what is the source? Okay, and so for that, we do our little detective work here. So I'm going to open up Chrome Developer Tools, and I'm going to inspect this guy, and lo and behold, there's the URL. So I double click it, and I do a propeller C to copy it, and then I do a propeller V to paste it in there, and then let's preview what we've got now. Pretty good, pretty easy, right? So there's our logo in the middle, just like it is in the real site. And so the next thing is we want to create the second menu in a manner similar to first, but we'll wrap the menu items in a UI-centered grid container. So you can see there was this top-level menu up here. Let me get rid of this for a minute. There's a top-level menu here, and we're going to have another menu inside, but it needs to be centered. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty similar. So I think the easiest thing to do, what I would do if it was me, is I just would create a copy of this, and then kind of fix it. So we don't want this to be top menu for sure, because that's going to create the formatting for that. And then UI centered grid container. Remember, that was what the recommendation was, UI centered grid container, to put all this stuff in the middle. And then, of course, we don't have logos in there. What we have is men, women, kids. Men and women are actually drop downs. So I think what I'll do is let's just get rid of all this stuff. And then UI drop down is going to say men. Okay. And let's just take a look at that. How close did we get? Pretty close. We got some formatting on our menu that we don't like, but that looks pretty good. So if we go here, we need a women, then we need kids, no drop down, and brands drop down, and search, no drop down. Okay, so men, let me do a Control Meta L to get my formatting okay. Okay, so women is going to look like that. Whoops. And then kids is not a drop down, so let's just use something from before, but put kids. and then we need brands, which is a drop-down. And then we need search, which is, or brand, which is a drop-down, and then search, which is not a drop-down. Let's see what that looks like. That looks pretty good, except it's too scrunched together. And we were scrunching them together above because we needed them scrunched together, but now I'm realizing that that fitted is a problem, right? We don't want it to be fitted. So let's find all the fitteds and get rid of them. Okay, and then let's try again. That looks good. That looks pretty much like we want. And then we're supposed to have some stuff, tank top shirts. Let's try tank tops, copy, shirts, preview that. Okay, and so we could do, I'm not going to do these other ones, but it's obviously just the same thing. Now the problem here, next problem, is that we need to get rid of this. We want that just to be no lines or anything. So how do we do that? Well, that's really simple. Just like we had a top menu for this one to create a kind of a fake class that we can use for our style sheet. Let's say middle menu, and then in here we can copy, paste, we'll call this middle menu, and then we don't want any background color anymore, but we also don't want any box header or border. So theoretically that should fix things for us. But it didn't, because I did something wrong. UI borderless, middle menu, menu. Oh, middle menu, menu. Okay, so let's try that now. F2. Okay. So that looks, I think, reasonably similar to the real site. And then we're going to use a UI fluid image class to format the full width photo of the kid falling in the pool. This is rather dangerous. I don't know if Island Snow should be like, somehow implicitly endorsing people jumping off roofs. But maybe that's just part of its brand to be, kind of risk taking. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll click on the image, which helps me find the image, and then I'll do a copy to get the URL, and I'll go back into my spot here, and I'll say img source equals, and then I'll get the source, and then as the instructions said, it was a UI fluid image, so class equals UI fluid image. Let's preview that. And really not bad at all, I'd say. Let's go back up here. Looks pretty good. I don't have my footer yet, but that's not what we're doing in this WOD. So it looks similar. Let's commit our branch to GitHub. Okay, finished middle. Commit and sync middle 1. Let's check to see that it's there, because it's just good to know. So yeah, we pushed middle 1. I also pushed another little test, but there's my middle 1. So we're all good. And so we'll call that 9 minutes for this WOD. A lot easier than the last one. And I hope you're kind of gaining steam on this whole idea of how to copy websites.